Hello friends, I am Remy and welcome back to my channel. This video is about installing Klipper on Manta M8P and CBOS on CB1. The Manta M8P V2 board do come with Klipper installed, but it's very old version, so we need to flash it again. So let's start. You have to go to GitHub, Bigtree Tech and CB1. Link I'll put in the description. So once you open this website, scroll down and over here you'll see OS image. The latest system image is here. Click here, or else you can click on this release button over here, this link. It's one and the same thing. So you can click here. Then scroll down under assets. You have to download either this file or the minimal one. This one comes with pre-installed Klipper. So I will download this. So I have already downloaded this before recording this video in order to save time. So I'll cancel this. Once that is downloaded, you have to go and extract it. So you'll have this image downloaded. Right click and extract here. Just extract this, whatever extracting software you're using, extract the image. So at the end, you should have a file which says .img. We'll be writing this file on the SD card. Next step is to use your preferred image burning software. So I use Belina HR. So I'll be using this software to write the image. Let's install the card and flash from file. Select the image that you need to burn. So you can go to wherever you downloaded, select that particular file and then image. So this file, the target is the SD card. So I'm using some generic SD card. Select that and flash. It might prompt you for the root or the administrator password. So just enter that and just wait for it to finish. Just wait for the verification or the validation process also to complete. Once that is done, it will say flash completed. So you can close this window. The next step is to configure the Wi-Fi configuration. So let's go back and down over here. If you see Wi-Fi setting, so we need to modify the system.config file. In there, we need to set these two parameters, Wi-Fi SSID and the password. Now let's browse through and open the configuration under boot, and we have this system.cfg. We need to change this SSID parameters here. This should be set as per your Wi-Fi setting. Once you have entered the configuration, save this file, and then we need to plug it into the motherboard. Now, if you are using the CB1 eMMC version, you might have to come down to overlay setting, and you might have to set the FTT file to this parameter. At the end, it says eMMC. So default version is set to the normal CB1, which is SD card. So last over here, it says SD. There are other several parameters for CB1. Normally, you don't need to set if you have the correct hardware. Mine is everything from Bigtree Tech, even the HDMI screen. I have HDMI 5 and CB1. So I don't have to do any other changes. So only I have to set the network parameter, which is this. Next step is to download the motherboard firmware. You have to go to GitHub, Bigtree Tech, Manta M8, and then go to the respective version that you have. I'm having V2 version. So I'll download the V2 version firmware, then under firmware, and then you have to download this particular file. So click here and then click on this download raw file button. So I have already downloaded this. Now next step is to transfer this file to the CB1 board via SCP, or you can copy it on the SD card. So once we have that, we have to execute this command. Since we are doing the installation for the first time and the main power, this power input is not connected, we need to power in using the USB to do the installation for the very first time. We have to burn the bootloader onto this STM chip and also the CB1 board. So for that we need to first put this jumper in. You can see this two pins over here. You have to put a jumper. It comes with the kit. When you buy the board, it comes within the package. So here's the jumper. We need to install this. Please note that this jumper you need to use only for the initial installation of the operating system. Once that is done, for your daily run, you should not use this jumper. This should be disconnected. Now the next step is to install the SD card onto the motherboard. We'll eject this first and remove the SD card. And backside of the motherboard, you have two slots. Here it says SoC card and here it says MCU card. We need to install on the SoC card. Or this is the place where you install the SD card required for the CB1 board, which will be installed over here. Now let's install the CB1 board onto the main board, this one. So before that, we need to remove this protective plastic, which is covering the holes. So the CB1 board goes in one direction. You have this Wi-Fi chip. It is facing outside towards the board. It will not go if you try to fit it this way. That is the Wi-Fi chip inside towards the board. It won't go. So it goes only in one direction. Even if you try to uh, fit in this way, if you see it's not getting aligned, the connector, they are not test. Align it properly and gently give it a push on top of the connectors. So the connectors are over here. You see, these are the connector place. Gently press until you hear the click sound. And on the other side as well. So press it on top of the connector and you hear the click sound. Now the board is seated properly. Now let's install the Wi-Fi antenna. Here is the Wi-Fi antenna that came with this CB1 board. The Wi-Fi antenna installation is done. Next step, once you install this jumper, is to power on the board. Now if you see here, you will have this 5-volt LED powered and the CB board is also lit up. Once the board is powered on, you will see this light is blinking. That means the operating system is started. So now we can log into the CB1 OS and flash the firmware onto the MCU. Now next step is to write the bootloader on MP8 microcontroller or the MP8 board. For that, first we need to get the IP address that is allocated to the CB1 operating system. So log into your firewall or the DHCP server where the IP address is allocated, and from there you can find out the IP. Once you have the IP, SSH using that IP with the credential that you can find over here, the place where we downloaded the OS image, the CB1 operating system. From there we can get this credential. My IP is 1.154 and username is BQ and the password is also the same. Once that is done, we need to put the board into DFU mode. Now next, so we need to transfer this file to CB1 OS. The IP is this with this username. So username and the IP, and we'll transfer to temp location. Username and password is same. And now this is transferred there. So we can validate over here. So this is the file. So we need to run this command. So before that, we need to put the board into DFU mode. M8P go to DFU mode. So we need to press and hold the boot and the reset button. So we can find the boot button over here, and the reset button is over here. So before that, we'll run the dmessage command just to identify when it comes into DFU mode. dmessage minus HW. So this command will tell us once it is into DFU mode. So you have to press and hold the boot button. So which is this one. So this button, press and hold, and then press and release the reset button. Just press and release. Okay. So this will put the board into DFU mode. Over here, if you see, you can see that the board now says DFU in FS mode. Otherwise, it will give the board the product name. I think it's STM32, something like that will come. Now we are ready to execute the command. So we are under the temp location, and we have this file being copied over here. So we can copy this command, okay, and hit the enter key. Now it says here file downloaded successfully, and there is one error here, dfu-util error during download. Just ignore this error. If it says that file downloaded successful, that means the firmware has been written to the microcontroller. Once bootloader writing is done, you can restart the board by the power reset or unplug the cable, or also you can press the reset button over here. Now we need to flash the microcontroller. For that we need a second SD card. I have this 512 MB. Insert it into your computer. This is required once we build the Klipper. We have to transfer it to our computer, and from there we have to copy it to the SD card. So we'll go back to our CB1 operating system, and we'll go to the Klipper directory. And over here we need to run the make menu config command. Okay. From here we need to go to enable, select the microcontroller, the second option. Then we have to select the STM microcontroller. Then next is to select the processor model. This processor model is I think 74 STM32H723. Bootloader, this option remains the same. There is actually nothing. You have to keep this 128. If you enable this, the clock reference, this should be 25 megahertz. Then press the Q key on the keyboard, and then Y. This will save the configuration. Then next, type the make command. This will take a while, so let it build. Once this building is done, we need to copy the firmware onto the SD card. Okay, now the file we need to copy is here, out. In the out directory, in that you have clipper.bin file. So this clipper.bin file we need to rename to firmware.bin. Now let me copy. Okay. And we need to rename this to firmware.bin. firmware.bin. So now we need to install this SD card onto the M8P board, uh, and then we have to wait for a while, and once that is done, then we have to replug the SD card onto our computer, and this file should rename to firmware.cur. Once that is done, if the file is renamed, that means the flash is successful. This we need to do because uh, Klipper will Klipper needs to talk to the microcontroller. For that, we need to write this firmware. I disconnect the power cable from here, and if you see, it says over here MCU SD card. So we need to plug in into this slot, which it says MCU SD card. Now that the SD card is installed over here, we'll power up the board from the USB Type-C. Now let's disconnect and we'll connect the SD card to our computer back and see whether flashing is done correctly or not. So the file is not renamed, that means flashing is not done. Now let's see what went wrong, why the firmware.bin is not renamed. So let me log into the CBOS. So if you type ls usb, the response also came very slow, and we must see some STM controller shown over here. It's not showing. So let's see what D message is going to show. This should not happen. It looks like the microcontroller is restarting. So this probably the reason could be because of a power source. So let me connect to a different power source. Okay, now I have connected to a different power source. So let me log in now. Okay, and the ls usb command also responded fast, and we can now see in the STM microcontroller over here. So we can type a dmessage command, and it should not show anything. Like if you see constant output with dmessage command with -hw, that means the device is restarting and it is detecting over and over again. So let's now see with the serial device if it is listed. We'll type the ls serial command list this one. Okay, now the serial device is also listed over here. Now we'll try again. We'll copy the firmware once again and see if it's able to write. We'll disconnect the power here, reinstall the SD card, and connect the power back. Okay, now the operating system is booted. Let me log in back. ls usb is showing as it is, and serial command listing. This is also shown. So we'll disconnect the power and see if the firmware is renamed. The firmware file. Still not. I'm not sure why, but this actually file should have been renamed. Okay, let's try to flash from the make command itself. So if you go to Klipper installation, we can run this command and flash. So we'll try this method. So we'll list the serial port here. So this is the serial port. And first we need to stop Klipper. Then go to the Klipper directory. And inside the Klipper directory, we have to run this command. So make sure to replace the serial device. So my device name is this, and we have to flash it. Okay. Okay, I was able to flash it this way. File download successfully. DFU error. This we can ignore. It's not required now. So we'll restart the device. Just to make sure, I will power cycle the board. So we'll disconnect the power and replug it. Let's wait for it to boot. So restart is done now. I will list the serial port. Yeah, able to list. Now next step is to configure the UI. So by default it comes with Mainsail. So we'll log in. So once you log in, this is normal to show this error. That's because if you look at the under machine in printer.cfg, this file is listed here, but this file does not exist. So if you go to under machine, this file should be listed here. It's not there. So what we need to do is, if you go to the GitHub repository of M8P, and then you have this file. Okay, so we need to copy this file over there. So let's copy this name. Come back to a printer in the machine. We'll create a new file, give the same name. Then we'll go to printer.cfg and we'll change this to the name what we have given. Save and close. Do not restart because we need to copy the content of that file. Go back to GitHub repository. Click on this raw button over here, copy raw file. Then Mainsail interface over here, paste it, save and close. Now we'll just verify once again before we do the reboot. So we have this CB board defined and we have included this file. We need to change the serial port in that file. So we'll open this file again, and if you scroll down, you will see this line which says MCU serial so and so. We need to replace this with the one what we have in our ls list serial by id command. We'll get this. So copy this and replace it here. Now we can save and restart. Okay, now if you go to dashboard, the MCU shutdown ADC out of range. So this means that microcontroller is detected. So the CBOS, the Klipper, is able to talk to the microcontroller, but it's unable to get the reading of the temperature. So that's why you have this error. So to fix this, what we can do is connect a temporary uh, uh, thermistor and validate that. Now let me connect the thermistor. We have to connect both for the bed and the hot end. So for that we need to find out the pins. So we'll go to the machine and the file which we copied. We have to open that file and look for extruder. Under extruder section, we have this sensor pin. So it says PB0, and then under heater bed, we have the sensor pin as PB1. So if you look here closely, here this is PB1 and next to that is PB0. So the bed thermistor will go here and the hot end thermistor will go here. So we'll first connect the bed thermistor. Now we'll connect the hot end thermistor. So the below one is for bed, and the just next to that is for the hot end. And here we have to do firmware restart. So we'll go to dashboard, and now we have this temperature set correctly. So that's it for this video. This is about getting the basic configuration up and running. Thank you for watching this video. God bless and stay safe.